Hi folks, welcome back to the channel. Thought I'd make a video today about how I rebuild my steering relays. I don't think there's any videos on YouTube at the moment, so I thought I'd make one, just show you the insides of them. Before I do start though, disclaimer, if you take any information away from this video and use it yourself, do so at your own risk. I'm not going to be responsible if you wipe out your teeth or take out an eye. These can be dodgy. Basically, you've got a big spring that's compressed inside here. So if you take off these ends, you've got to be careful. Make sure you're not pointing this at your face or at anyone else's face. Make sure there's no dogs, cats, children, wives, anywhere near around when you're taking this apart. Make sure your face is not in front of this. Basically, when you take these end caps off, nothing should happen until you actually chop the shaft out. But in case something's broken or worn out, you never know. Just be careful. But like I say, this is how I do mine. It's not necessarily how you should do yours, but might be an interesting video for some folk. Anyway, let's have a look. Now, I've already drained the oil out of this. It's the sludge that came out of it. Not very pretty looking. And before I actually decided to go ahead and rebuild this, I managed to find new old stock, ex-MOD stock shaft. I've got thrust washers, new spring. Figured that old one being there for a while, so it's probably not got the same sort of force on it. New bolts, gaskets, and the fibre bushes are soaking in oil over here. They've been in there for about 24 hours. So I might not actually use this part. I just seen it for sale. I thought I'll grab it. If the one that comes out of here is actually still okay, I'll go ahead and reuse that and just put that one, well, grease it up and wrap it back in brown paper and keep it for another project at a later date. There are a few videos online already about just changing the oil on these. But like I said, there's actually nothing about actually taking about one of these apart and reassembling it. I do this slightly different to the sort of tutorials that are on some forums. You can make like a spring compressor or spring holder. I'm going to do it slightly different. I'm going to do it in my hydraulic press, and I'll show you how that's done when we get around to that. But we'll get this stripped down, get the casing blasted and repainted, and then we'll start assembling again. So at the moment I'm just going to remove the bolts off the top. This is the point where you need to actually start being careful. It's kind of like a hand grenade with a pin out. Just got to be careful. I'm just using a pair of old overalls just to catch all the bits when I knock the shaft out. So you can use, I don't know, a bag, whatever. It's just to catch the parts. Not yet. I need something to drift that out with. So there we go, one stripped down steering relay. It's not hard to get to this stage, just got to be careful, that's the main thing. I'm definitely going to replace this shaft. Having had a good look at it, there's quite a lot of ridging around there and over there. I don't know if you can see that in the video. There's also quite a lot of corrosion here. This was on the top end, so that's quite bad there. So yeah, I've got the new one, may as well use it. Also replace that spring. You can see the old one's quite a bit shorter than this new old stock one, so I suppose just having been compressed for so long, it's just, you know, kind of stayed in that length. So yeah, what I'll do now is I'll get this main body and the two end caps blasted and painted, and then we can start reassembly. I don't actually know if this is a genuine Land Rover item, but like I say, I just want that bit of it to reassemble everything into. That could have been a remanufactured one or an aftermarket. But yeah, I'll get them cleaned up and we'll start reassembly. Right, so that's the housing and the top and bottom caps blasted and painted. It's not 100% dry yet. I'm a bit too impatient, but I just want to crack on and get it built. I can touch up the paint later on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and just put the top cap on here, and then we'll start building up the spring assembly on the shaft. Right, it's time for the dodgy part now. This is just a bit of angle iron I cut a slot out of just to hold the bottom of the spring and let me push the shaft through. This press has got a hole up in here to let these mandrels clip in, and luckily it's pretty much exactly the same size as the spline, so the spline can go up there and be held securely, which will help me no end just to secure everything, because like I say, this is a dodgy bit of it. But we'll see how we get on. Right, so that's it loaded up. Now it's just a case of pressing it through and putting on the bottom bushings. But sensible to wear eye protection at this stage. I don't care about my teeth and stuff, as long as I don't lose my eyes. Bit of a dodgy bit, this. Don't try this at home. Right, that's spring fully compressed, as much as I need it compressed anyway. So now it's just a case of popping these on and putting a clamp around it. And there we go, one compressed spring. It's definitely like a hand grenade now. You don't want to be in the line of fire on either end of that, so just make sure you don't point it at your face or anything like that. And also just make sure you don't get your fingers or anything caught up in there. So, like I said, it's a bit dodgy now, but in fact, what I might do, I'll just put a glove on just to retrieve this out of there. And there we go. Right, time to put it inside the body. So I don't know if you can notice here, I've set these clamps. So this bit here can go inside the body and I can release that clamp and then slide this down until that bit there is inside the body, and then I can release that clamp and then push everything inside and nothing should spring apart like that. So now that those fibre bushings are inside the housing, I can remove this one clamp. They're not going to spring apart, the housing's holding them together. I've just got to get it pushed up all the way until this bit of these fibre bushings are inside the housing, and then it should be safe. Got to realign the spring and the washer there, just so it slides in nicely. Make sure the thrust washer, there we go. And at that stage, we should be safe. Let's get this one off. Slacken that slightly. There we go. That's it in. More taps. Right, then it's just a case of next thrust washer. Lastly, we just need to fill it up with some oil. This is just EP90 in a syringe. It'll take a while to get it all in there, it's quite thick. Right, there we go. One rebuilt steering relay. I've still got to put these last 2 bolts in. I've decided that I'll wait until tomorrow, let any air come up, and I'll try and give another fill again. It's not a particularly bad job. I wouldn't say this is just for amateur mechanic. If you're going to attempt this yourself, first of all, you do so at your own risk. I accept no responsibility if you hurt yourself using this method. This is not a how-to, this is a how I did it video. But yeah, only attempt it if you are experienced dealing with stuff like this. There is that spring in there, it is under a lot of compression, a lot of stored energy. It can fall to bits and shoot you in the face and stuff like that. If you're handling the compressed spring, wear some gloves, eye protection and stuff like that. But this is, like I say, this is not a how-to, this is a how I did it video. If you do it, do some research online, there are other methods. This is just my method. I find it the quickest way of doing it. This took me an afternoon actually. Longest part of it was the blasting and the painting, waiting for the paint to dry enough so I can handle it. I was also fortunate enough, I found a new old stock shaft. If I hadn't found one, that's what I would have been dealing with, and it's pretty much trash. I probably would have ended up looking for another second-hand one to rebuild in the hope that the shaft would have been in good nick. But I'll probably look out for another one of these. That's what I do. I kind of hoard new old stock parts. You never know when you're going to need them. And the new old stock's far better quality than like a shaft you'll buy today. The ones today, they've got a bad reputation for bending and stuff like that. New old stock is always the best way to go. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll be sure to make more as and when I've got stuff like this to do. So yeah, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.